What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Niner Sickness, with the Boston Hater on a Friday night football. We're going to talk a little bit of 49ers. As our Boston Hater loves his Braves, he'll keep us a little bit updated on the Braves tonight, beating the Houston Astros. So if you're a Houston Astro fan, oh, you're not going to like Boston Hater tonight, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's only 1-0. Yeah, I might turn around and not be too happy with them. It's still a close one.
I hear you. I hear you. So how you doing tonight, Boston Hater?
I'm good, man. I got a head start on all the stuff that I normally do on Friday yesterday, so I was really, by about 4 o'clock this afternoon, I had all that stuff out of the way. So I was like, eh, not my norm. Usually I'm ripping and running till the very last moment, man. So it is kind of good to get a break. And I'm going to be ducking and dodging those people next week at my job. So you know, maybe I can get in on your show again next week sometime.
I hear
Uh,
that, bro. Definitely,
NFL,
definitely, definitely.
yeah. Mhm.
Always welcome. What's up, young hitter? Just saying hi to Josh real quick, and we got our boy Tom in the house. Uh, what's up, Tom? How you doing? What's up, Josh? Yeah, man. It's kind of cool that you started your errands a day before because I always we talk all the time and I know that most of your work, not that you don't work at your job, but it seems like you do put in more hours on your day off than you do during the time that you're clocked
Man,
in
it's definitely more work for sure, but yeah, it's just
with no pay.
constantly. Yeah, yeah, no, it doesn't pay nearly as good either. Yeah. The only time and this is that time of month too, when you start getting toward the end and the beginning of the months when all of people's you know, the money's due and
Yeah,
people are so I gotta go make sure that everybody's getting there, you know, man. So I get all my monies in.
and make sure everybody passes go. And you got to
Yeah,
collect.
yeah, so
They got to
and
pass
and it,
go.
and it works out, I've got good people that rent from me, so I don't really run into very many issues with that. So it's a good thing.
That's good. Yeah, I can imagine stressing out with that. But when you have, and then the thing about it is when you build relationships and trust amongst you and your renters,
Mhm.
and they love where they live and they take care of your property, and you're good to them, they're good to you, man. It's a good relationship to have, and it's one that is less stress, right?
Definitely, yeah, because we kind of work together. I mean, there was some of them that their jobs were shut down, and when the job shuts down, the money shuts down with the job,
No
and
kidding, huh? Like,
and
how
I
is that?
was
Why is that?
uh, it just that's life, man. So anyway, with a lot of them, I work things out. I'm like, look, don't worry about this month, you know. And if you're still out, don't worry about next month. Like, but and a lot of them were only out a couple months because most of the places aren't here, And so basically, I let it ride for a couple months. So that's when you have somebody for years and they pay on time all the time. You don't want them behind the eight ball feeling like, I have a problem with people having that feeling like, oh man, you know, this shuts down. Now I'm a couple of months behind and I'm hustling trying to catch up. And I, I've been there. I know the feeling. I'm just like, look, don't worry about it. Just move forward and, we'll not worry about this month.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't think about it much until right now, but I can imagine you went through a lot of that last year when COVID
um,
struck.
no, no, it was like I said. I had a couple of months for most people. Um, the ones in California, they were like one of them was like 5 months, but you know they got jobs, and actually the ones from California insisted on paying me back, so they've actually done that. But
Really?
yeah, they insisted on you know paying. I was like, I appreciate it, but I'm telling you, you really don't have to do that. You're still good. But yeah, that's why I said it's good to have good people um, in those positions. So yeah, we work together, and most of them, pretty much all of them, are very appreciative.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it, like you said, it takes two to tango. And if you work with them, they work with you, and you guys build that relationship. It's easier for not just yourself, but it's also easier for the renter. I assume that because they can feel confident, they can feel reassured that God forbid something happens, that they're not going to be on the damn streets right away. They can
Yeah,
approach you, and because they develop that relationship with you, they can hit you up, and you guys can definitely work something out. And
yeah,
that's a little bit of peace of mind, I presume, for your renters, man.
yeah. Because right now I have no renters that I haven't had for at least 4 years, and other than the COVID stuff, never a late payment with any of them,
Wow.
and
You think you were renting to me?
that's
Just kidding.
11. Yeah, 11 people. So 11 different families.
You guys, then you're blessed, bro. You got some good people. I just want to. Tom says it seems like that's all I do is run errands. So, Mister Tom's running errands all day long.
You're preaching to the choir on that one. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yep. And then our boy Eric, he's not with us tonight. At least not on video. He's on the comments. He's traveling, his mini vacation to Texas, Houston, Texas. So keep him in your prayers, traveling prayers. And our boy Mike, Florida Mike, his beautiful little princess is celebrating her birthday today. So happy birthday to Mike's beautiful princess, little daughter. She's
Yeah,
11 years old today. So happy birthday to her. And that's why he's not here. And I didn't expect him to be here. So,
yeah,
but you got Boston Hater, man. So I'm
yeah.
just here for the ride.
You know what? I won't mention her. I don't know if he wants me mentioning her name, so I'll just say, yeah,
That's why I didn't either.
happy
Yeah.
birthday to your daughter, Mike.
I'm the same way. Yeah. That's why I didn't
Yeah,
mention. Yeah.
I mean, I almost just said
Oops.
it. Yeah, I don't know if he minds,
Yeah.
but
He calls her princess. So I figure princess is
yeah,
okay.
let's just not, and we won't have to worry about that.
Exactly. What's up, Luke Luna? How you doing, brother? We start playing to get better, and it starts in Chicago. Referring to the Niner game.
Yes,
Uh,
look, man, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. But honestly, I I've just been looking at I went back and this week I watched all of our games over. Now, of course, I watched it in the format that you don't have to watch all the commercials and stuff, so you can get through a
the
game
condensed format.
and yeah,
Yeah.
between 35 and 45 minutes each game. Um, and I also watched all of the Kansas City Chiefs games, and there's a stark comparison that it's kind of actually I'm shocked by it. Uh, you've got two good coaches that are having a really bad year.
Yeah.
I
Talk
mean,
about a bad hair day. Yep.
yeah, I don't think that either one of them is a bad coach. I think we've got a couple of really good coaches there. Shoot, they were both in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Andy Reid was in the Super Bowl again last year,
Yep.
but uh, I just don't see how they're some of the things that they're doing is just so. It's like that's terrible. I'm like, what is he thinking? You know, and I see a lot of that from both of them. Like I look at some of the things that Kyle does in short yardage situations, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And I looked at the game with Kansas City last week. You got a 3rd and 1, and they're trying to throw this little short out to pick up the 1 yard. I'm like, but they jammed the receiver that he was trying to throw the short out to. And so it threw the timing off, and he's got like 3 guys in the backfield around him, and he has to throw the ball away. Now you got a 4th and 1. Um, they
Yeah.
were 2 tentative. They didn't want to go. They punted the ball on 4th and 1, and they were like at the 44-yard line, the opponent's 44-yard line, and they punted the ball. It's like, wow. That's.
Yeah, questionable calls that you would think
I
that
mean,
Andrew.
it sounds like Kyle Shanahan. I'm like, but there's a lot of that, and they're having pass protection issues like you wouldn't
Yeah,
believe in
yeah.
Kansas City, and so because of it, they're not adjusting. Yeah, they're not adjusting. They're not max protecting. They're not coming up with all these little gimmicks to add into the pass protection. I mean, they're just forcing all these things, and you got a bunch of wild throws coming out of Mahomes because of pressure, because of trying to put too much on his shoulders, and so he's making bad decisions that he wouldn't normally make, and he's leading the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
And the thing about the Kansas City Chiefs, their offensive line is better than it was last year. The only
Talent?
problem is talent wise. Yeah, the only problem is they haven't played together yet, and they haven't gelled completely where they're comfortable with each other. Because that kid they picked up from Baltimore, he's that left tackle. He's playing pretty good,
Oh,
right?
yeah, he's playing good, but the line is playing terrible as a whole. Yeah, so you know, having one or two guys play good and the other three are playing horrendous,
Yep.
what good is it?
What good is
Yeah,
yeah? So Andy Reid and both Kyle are you
having some
know
bad
having a
season.
bad year, and people can say, well, Kyle only has 5 years. Well, Andy Reid has how many years underneath his belt? And he
23, 24,
Yeah, and
something like
he's having and coaches do. People don't realize it sucks
that.
when it happened to your team, but
And on
coaches
top,
do have bad years.
yeah, and on top of that, he's got the best quarterback in football,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's still having the same issues.
They're only
Uh,
one game. They're only get one game ahead of us, guys. So, and they have Pratt and
really,
Mahomes.
we got the same loss column, and they have one more win.
Yeah, but they haven't had their bye yet either. So,
No, that's why.
yeah. So, real quick on the comments, they're talking about Javon Kinlaw. Yes, he has successful surgery today, and he will be out for the rest of this season as he recovers from that surgery. So he definitely will be missed, especially in the run game.
Oh yeah.
But he needs to take care of that. And as so much for the, I don't know if you want to get into it or not, but so much for the division in the locker room.
Oh man. You know what? I would have not really bought into this, but the source that it came from really makes me believe that there's some truth to this. See, and I blame the head coach for this. And it's a hard thing to manage because I've seen a lot of head coaches have this issue. Um, right now, and this came straight from Steve Young, if you're wondering
Well, who is
what
the source? Yeah.
yeah, and he was saying that he feels real tension and a divide in that locker room. He's like, uh, and it has to do with the whole quarterback thing. It's like you've got first of all Kyle playing games with the media, which I always think is a bad idea.
Yep.
I mean, you should always just be very deliberate, say what you mean, and move on. Uh, so you got a handful of people that want Trey, a handful of people that want Jimmy, and so you've got this mess in the locker room. Honestly, Kyle should have taken that by the horns. He should have said, "Look, when he started the year, the first thing he was saying was he wanted Lance to basically have a redshirt year, and if it was up to him, that's what it would be." Well, if you've got that and you've got your owner who, when he was drafted, supported that idea by saying that even if he had to sit a year or two to get him ready, he would be for that. And, nothing changes just because your record is 2-4. That doesn't change. You develop That guy that you believe is going to be your franchise quarterback the way you see fit. Wins and losses do not change whether or not you develop your young quarterback of the future, whatever you deem is correctly. And yes, absolutely, Tom, we did have that same issue, and there was this pissing match. And you know what? The crazy part about it was we had we won the Super Bowl that year that we were playing that crazy mess. This one would play one half, this one would play the other half. This one would start this game, this one would start the other game. It was a mess. And as a matter of fact, we were 6-6, 12 games in, and ended up winning the last four. And ended up, winning the wild card. And actually, we won the division. Our division was crappy. We won the division that year. All right, and then we ended up just riding it all the way to the Super Bowl. Yeah, so
Yeah, the whole, and that just kind of, to me, it lacks a little bit of leadership in Kyle Shanahan's side, because he needs to nip that in the bud. He needs
yeah,
to know, let his locker room, his players know, we're rocking with Jimmy. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what people say. This is
exactly.
what we're doing. This is who we're going with. And he needs to stand up and build that confidence within his players. And he's not. He's
No,
lacking of doing that. And that's not good for your roster. Whenever there's division, you have a record like we do. Because the game that we lost, we didn't lose by a lot,
no.
exception to the Colts game maybe.
Well, and that game was still in the balance when we had the turnover at the end. We
Yeah.
still were in it, and we still had a chance. Um, I don't know what he's really thinking, but you know what? I know it's a hard thing to manage when you have a quarterback that's the quarterback of the future on the bench and the quarterback of now. And it doesn't matter at that time, you know, you have to be definitive. And how we won back when we did that, I'll never understand, because that was totally mismanaged and it was a mess.
Yeah.
But when did it fly right? When they decided that Montana was going to start, and they didn't, and they stopped messing with it, and they got behind him. They started winning games. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean,
There has to be a line to be crossed in the
and,
sand
and
where,
honest, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Honestly, we could go 2-15 if we're doing what it takes, you know, and getting this quarterback ready for the future, where he's going to be our guy for the next decade. You know, I don't really care as much about this year. Sure, I want to win. I'm not saying I want to lose, don't get me wrong, but Lance has a lot of mechanical flaws. And I just want to, I don't know, I think I might have explained this on here before. I don't know if I have, but I'm going to. When you have mechanical flaws, it's just another thing to think about. And it takes you longer to develop when you're actually playing, because you basically play with the mechanical flaws. It's kind of like, I'll give you an example of this, who came out early in his career and did this. I'm not going to go and we're going to go this guy tit for tat. We're not going to go through all that. I'm going to pick this one guy in particular because of how long it took him. Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills had some terrible mechanics, but he was out there, he was going for what he could. He was doing the best he could. He was really struggling. It took him about 2.5 years of playing ball to actually get his mechanics right. Uh, you know, and when you put a guy out there and play him game after game after game, he has to go back and forth uh, with he's doing things wrong in the game mechanically, but it's something else to think about, because guys that don't have that down, all right, first of all, you got to think about, okay, that Mike linebacker is in the A gap and he's probably going to blitz. So we're going to have to uh, I'm going to move the running back over from the strong side to the weak side. And he's going to pick up this linebacker coming through the A gap. All right. And I'm going to go from being under center and I'm going to be in the pistol now right next to him. So, I mean, you got all these things to think about. And then you're looking at the coverage and you see that, all right, when I had my motion guy come across, it was my tight end. You know what? They didn't flip. So, it's a zone, but you don't know what kind of zone because, they keep jumping back and forth, but it looks like a cover two. So I'm going to go with that. All right. So these are all the things that are going through his mind. And then he gets the ball and he takes a 3-step drop out of the pistol. And he's thinking, man, do I have my feet right? Oh, look at this guy got through on the A gap. So now he's running, going for what he knows. He's not thinking about his mechanics anymore, but he was thinking about it right then after he looked off his first guy because it's a lot, guys. Anybody who's ever even played the position on even even Pop Warner or a junior All-American, it's a lot. So if you take and let him practice that and work on that, and he gets through this whole season and comes back with better mechanics next year, he doesn't have to think about them anymore. For instance, I'm going to use just one guy here, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was horrendous and made tons of mistakes in college, as far as major. I mean, he had the arm and he would make these big plays, but he would make some huge blunders. And, they were always a losing record because he would make terrible throws in the most crucial times. And he's been known for anything but that as a professional. But he sat for a year. He learned a lot of things from, guys like Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, Alex Smith. He gives more credit than either one of them. So the thing is, guys, just be patient with this whole thing with Trey Lance. What we want more than anything to come out of this season is to Trey Lance to be ready in 2022 to be the quarterback we want him to be. And expect the progression. That's when it starts. He's got his mechanics down. He gets out there in 2022 and he starts, being able to pick things apart, and actually look at things, and he doesn't have to worry about that other aspect. Now he can play faster. Now he can make better decisions. He can see more because he's not thinking about as much. So I want you guys to really give what I'm saying some consideration before just running out there saying, oh, Jimmy's making these mistakes. Jimmy got a bunch of money basically so that you can get basically to get this guy and be able to basically redshirt him, so that you could get him right. It wasn't about, let's win with Jimmy. That wasn't the primary. Yeah, you believed you could win with him, and that's a good reason to keep him. But no, he's here because you're getting ready for the guy of the future. That's 99% of the reason he's here right now. So that doesn't change. And Javier Rios, we can lose against the Bears, and I say that you are 100% wrong. No one's getting fired behind that. I don't want to know. I hope we win. I don't want to be in that position. But, yeah, there's not going to be any firings if we lose to the Bears.
No, at least not in this game.
No. It's going to be the entire body of work before they can. I can tell you where I would be all for a head coach getting fired. Run Trey Lance out there before the last 4 or 5 games of the season and call him the starter. I would be all for them firing the head coach if they do that. But when you think about, because you said this is the way that you felt developing him would be best, we'll do that. If you get the last month of the season and you want to put some stuff on tape, because, hey, we're out of playoff contention or whatever. So let's use these 4 or 5 games to put this on tape so he can look at what he's doing and he can work on getting this right during the off season. Yeah. So I understand it when you get there and it's out of reach. You definitely want to do some of that. But if we're not, then he doesn't even get that.
Yeah, I hear you. And then for those that don't really are not happy with Kyle Shanahan, just think about this. You could have Nagy as your head coach right now.
Woo.
So you got to put this into perspective. You may not like Kyle right now, but who would you rather have, Kyle or Coach Nagy?
Oh no, let me make it more fun because see, Nagy's horrible. But here's the thing: we're being honest. Let's use somebody that's having some success because see, it's always easy to look at Nagy and say, yeah, he's trash. It's easy. Would you rather have Kyle Shanahan
Oh, I know where you're going.
or McVay?
Yeah, Sean McVay.
If you say McVay, you bumped your head. Yeah, McVay's team is playing better. Sure. But if you really for a minute want to sit here and entertain the idea of McVay being a better coach than Kyle Shanahan, you've lost your mind. You just have. I mean, let's think about it. To this point, how long have they both? They're both in the same season. They both started the same year. He had a much better team to start with. He gets 2 years of having a good team where Kyle is still trying to piece something together. First of all, Jimmy, as a starter, never lost to the Rams. I think that's 4 games. Uh, shoot. Nick Mullins even beat the Rams. Rams are a playoff team. Couldn't beat the Niners last year. We were all beat up. Year before that, they didn't beat us either. I want to say in 2018,
We split that year.
did we? I
Yeah.
know we split in 17 when Jimmy first showed up. At the end of the year, we beat him. I think 2018 they beat us twice.
Oh, did
But
they?
we were a horrible team. But we had some players, but yeah, the team itself overall without Jimmy was just terrible. And so, yeah, I think we did, but yeah, they've never beat us with a starting quarterback. Since Kyle's been there with a decent starting quarterback. And he's still got a losing record against us, even with the 2 year head start. Because he only won 3 of those 4 games. But lost the last 4 straight, by the way. So, no, he's not a better coach. He's got, right now, they're playing better. I don't even know, truthfully, if they're a better team. Uh, but, we have to go out there and prove it on Sundays. I think we have a lot of, that dissension is really hurting us on Sundays. You need guys to be with it on Sunday. You can't have guys worrying about this guy over here on the field or that guy over there on the field or what the news media is saying or about what we're saying as fans. You can't have that. You have to be focused on your opponent on Sunday. Yeah. And if you're focusing on each other and the news and the fans, then it's hard to win football games. So I'm just hoping that we can focus on the Bears this Sunday. That's what we need to do. Let's start there. And, they're making it clear. I liked some bits of clarity coming through. Trey has been cleared to be the backup quarterback. That's what you're seeing coming everything out of Niners camp. That's what he's cleared for. So understand that he's the backup. So let's hope that they stay consistent with that. And
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, the thing about the Rams, you're right. A lot of people like to make the comparisons of McVay and Kyle coming in and taking over the team year one, but it's hard to make that comparison when you had one coach come in and take over a team that was pretty good, and then you had another coach that had to strictly rebuild the whole team. I believe maybe 6 players were left behind from the old roster.
we had 6 guys on our Super Bowl roster that were on the roster when Kyle took over the team.
Yeah,
6
it's hard.
in 2 seasons, because 2 full seasons. He was, and when you start the third, you only had 6 left. Where they had all these draft picks. You had just drafted Jared Goff. You had just drafted Todd Gurley the year before that. You had just drafted Aaron Donald the year before that. You got 2 all pros at the time on that team that just got drafted. And you got who was a pretty good quarterback in Jared Goff. They've upgraded since then,
Yeah,
but he did some good things for a while. He's limited. He's kind of Garoppolo-ish in that respect. He's limited, but not a bad quarterback by any means. Uh, and then they started to add to that. They drafted guys like LaMarcus Joyner in the second round and added to their safety help. They went out in free agency and added a couple of guys. Plus, Robert Woods was one of the ones they added in free agency. They added what's the name of the 2 corners, Talib and Marcus Peters, and then they moved on from them since. So, I don't know. It's just they had a much better nucleus than we had to create our nucleus.
yeah,
Basically, we threw everything out the window and started from scratch. I mean, if I thought about it, I could probably name those 6 guys. As a matter of fact, I think only 2 of them are left, huh?
yeah.
No, 3. Armstead, Tart, Ward.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, those 3. That's it. And other than that, we had Selleck, Staley.
And they're gone.
Yeah. There was one more. They both retired. There was one more. I can't remember who it was now. Oh, the long snapper.
Oh yeah. Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He retired. Yeah, he's gone too. Yeah, so to your point, man, it's crazy. But real quick before we move on, just want to acknowledge Corey Davis and wish him a happy birthday. He turns 52 years old today, so happy birthday there, Corey Davis.
Yeah, happy birthday. I think I hit you up on the on a post on your on Facebook, so definitely got you there. So yeah, happy birthday to you, Corey.
You got me beat by a year there, Corey. I thought you were younger than me, but I guess not. You got me by a year. But
Lou.
happy
Oh my
birthday.
God,
What's up, Lucky? How you doing, Lucky? Welcome to the show, brother.
Lou,
We better sign right.
stop it. No,
I mean, at this point, would he be even worth it with Troy? I mean, Trey here.
yeah, you don't do that. I mean, I the plan is to, if you're gonna trade him for a young guy. Now, if Luke would have said, all right, we've looked into this Deshaun Watson thing, and I don't believe that Deshaun Watson is gonna, I think all this stuff is gonna blow over, and you go after a young quarterback like that, I'm with you. You go out and get the old man. And first of all, you're not gonna spend 3 number ones to leave. We're gonna put Lance behind him and sit him on the bench. Stop. We're not doing that, man. No. It doesn't matter about the history books. No, not doing that. The only way they do that is if they go all in and do some Tampa garbage and get rid of Lance in the process, which I'm definitely against that. Uh, because there's no reason to have a guy that you had 3 number ones and he's gonna sit behind Aaron Rodgers for the next 3-4 years. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, it would be in their best interest if they were looking at maybe, like I said, Deshaun Watson is the only example I have because he's the only one that's truly out there, young, and available. So, yeah, I would use that as an example. I don't know that makes sense because I don't know about his legal issues. I don't know how that's going, but if it turns and finds out that that is something that's, you know, it's a bunch of hoopla and it's not really going anywhere, then I would entertain that. But uh as far as the old guy, no,
Yeah.
not in.
Plus the money he would demand because
Well,
he's not taking a pay cut just to come to the Niners.
well, I mean, his money is going to look like Deshaun Watson's money, but Deshaun Watson will probably be in the NFL at least another decade. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers probably is not. You know, they broke the mold when they made that former Boston quarterback that seems that he can play for another 50 years.
Yeah, yeah. It is what it is. We are where we are at. I know a lot of people are like, we should have went for Tom Brady when he wanted to come here. People don't realize Tom
Mm-mm.
Brady wouldn't have the success with San Francisco that he has with Tampa, just
Absolutely
based
not.
on last year's injury.
Do you, do you know how beaten he probably would have been? You know, we had half our offensive line missing or more. We had receivers gone, tight ends gone, running backs gone, defensive players gone. I mean, you would have got Tom Brady and you would have probably got him killed. You know, we were getting our backup quarterbacks and everybody beat up. Yeah, Tom Brady probably wouldn't have made it through the season here. So that wouldn't have done you any good.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he's old as dirt. What him for?
yeah. The team that we had last year, he would have got destroyed.
Yeah. His
Um,
career might have been over.
yeah, you probably wouldn't be playing this year, and then we would have had him only for 1 year unsuccessfully, and then what? We still would be in the same situation. So, and then and then people say that, this is just strictly speculation that the Niners turned down a second round pick to Boston.
You
And
know what?
that's like, why
I
would
was
you
gonna
want? I see why they turned it down if that was the case. Why would if your plan was to develop Trey, as Kyle has said, and as the owner has said, based on what Boston Hater said, and I heard it too. Why would you want to trade Jimmy if that was your plan going into the season? Why would you take a two for him? So it's just, and that's just hearsay. It doesn't There's no proof that they actually offered the number
actually,
two.
I'm gonna call BS on that entire thing. And you know why?
Mm.
Because why is it all of a sudden that this comes out of
True.
nowhere once the Niners start losing and it's time for people to start turning on the waterworks, crying, moaning, and groaning, that all of a sudden comes out. It didn't come out around draft time. It didn't come out around now. All of a sudden, when things are looking gray, oh, look at this here. Yeah,
Yeah.
if it was there, it would have been heard about it a long
Writers
time.
are just trying to spin it for writing
Yeah,
purposes.
yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense.
No, I agree. That makes a valid point actually, because you're right. And during the trade time, if that was something that was actually done, they would
Yeah,
have said it. They would have mentioned it. But the fact that we're 2-4 and we're losing that we are, writers have to write about something, and
so
they're gonna turn the narrative about that. They're gonna say things that people hopefully jump on, because the more people jumped on a narrative they bring about, is better for the writer. So you got to really be careful what you listen, especially in a losing season. You're gonna get a lot of nutheads coming out of the woolworks talking about this should have been done, that should be done. The Niners as a team, the owner is invested, the coach is invested. They don't care what the media says. They don't care what people say. They know what they need to do. Well, to an extent.
hmm, I don't believe they should care, but
You think Kyle lets the fans get to him?
we'll see. Let's put it this way: if he throws that kid in there before we're out of playoff contention, then the answer is yes.
Because he'll go against what he said from the beginning of the season, correct?
Right. If he sees something and he recognizes something in this player that he wanted and he put all that draft capital into, and then he goes against that, man, that looks bad. You look spineless to me. You know? I'm like, you probably need to go elsewhere. And unfortunately, because I think you're a really good coach. But if you're going to give in to media and fan peer
The
pressure,
pressure, yeah.
then you're not tough enough for this job. You need to man up.
But let me ask you something. Who fires you as a head coach? The fan base or the owner?
Hell, let's put it this way: if your owner is like a coach, like let me just, I'm going to go ahead and use another example, Matt Nagy, who couldn't stand the fact that he was losing and threw out the poor rookie that's not ready and
Yeah, that's
threw him
hard.
to the wolves. And you know, on top of that, he's got nothing around him, which is even worse. I mean, he's got a receiver and an injured running back, and he's out there going for what he knows.
Yeah.
It's terrible the way they've done this kid. And I really hope I was really hoping Matt Nagy would get it together, but now that he wants to do this, I hope he gets canned.
Yeah, at
He,
this point, and I'll go back to the owner part of the Niners, but to your point, Nagy doesn't care about anybody but himself. He's trying to save his ass based on a developmental player that if this guy was a true coach, regardless if he gets canned or not, he will have first concern about his quarterback. What can I do while I'm here to develop this kid the right way, whether I finish it or not? I'm gonna focus on him, but he's not. He's shown that it's about risking his own butt and taking a risk with him. And then back to the Kyle and York. The Niners might be bringing pressure to the fan base, but as long as Jed has Kyle's back, as you said, and I heard him say it too, that whether they start Trey next year or the year after that, as long as we develop him, we'll be fine. So I tend to believe that Kyle may not put him in based on what the fan base says if he has his owners. Now, if the owner starts to get swayed by the fan base, then I can see the owner putting pressure on Kyle and Kyle doing it. Can the owner be pressured by the fan base, Nate?
I don't know. He doesn't. He doesn't need to be. He's the owner.
Yeah.
He runs everything.
But tickets, you gotta fill in those stands.
Yeah, we're gonna do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's always some fan that's
yeah,
gonna go.
we're going. We're going. Um, and here's another. eh, This is the problem. Here we go. Luke Luna, we're 2-4. Please remove your feelings from all moves because number one, you can't cut Jimmy Garoppolo. It doesn't even make sense. And plus, and then you're going to take Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers said, you know what? I'm going to just, you're going to, first of all, you got to trade for him. You can't just pick him up. Yeah, you got to trade for him. He's under contract. And then you got to pay him his outrageous salary, which we don't have the cap space. Because why? Because you just cut Jimmy Garoppolo. And oh, by the way, we're in the middle of the season, by the way. So that means that the money that he gets for this year is now guaranteed. So you have to pay him whether he's here or not.
Yeah. If you're gonna do that, you would definitely have to do it next year, not this year. Not that you
Can't
should.
do that. Yeah, you can't do it. And you say trade him. Yeah, that doesn't work either. Still, you got to be able to fit Rodgers' salary. First, you got to trade for him. And you don't have no darn draft capital. Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
In the
Yeah,
life of Madden,
yeah,
it makes
I know.
plenty of sense.
Yeah, it works great in John Madden
And
football.
not to be disrespectful, Luke, I'm being honest. In Madden, it works, but in
When you talk,
reality football, it doesn't.
yeah, when you talk about Deshaun Watson, and uh, you can run Trey off the squad, and you can run Jimmy off the squad. That's the two things you would have to do to make that work. And the thing about Deshaun has an outrageous contract, but this year it's 10.5 million against the cap. So you could make that work. Aaron Rodgers, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 38, 39 million against the cap. Plus, you have to trade Jimmy. I don't care if you get a seventh for him. You got to get him off the books. You can't cut him. That's an absolute no, because you got to pay him whether he's there or not. Why would you cut him?
Yeah,
So
for this year, definitely. And
and
not only that, but
next year you're using Trey, man. You don't cut Jimmy. You know, you get what you can get for Jimmy because he's got 1 year left on his deal, and you move on from him because somebody's going to need a quarterback. As you can see right now, there's teams out there right now that would probably give you a draft pick for him. It probably wouldn't be what you wanted, but yeah, you can get something for him. Yeah, because it's more about getting him off the books if you're doing a move like that. And then on top of that, the other issue you have is Jimmy has to want to go because this year Jimmy has a no trade clause this year. So he goes where he wants to go.
yep, that's another important key issue that he go. Yeah, and even if let's say example next year we cut Jimmy and we bring in Rodgers for say argument with that contract, have we forgotten that Mr. Nick Bosa is going to require a hefty paycheck? Where's the money going to go then?
That's the whole thing about the young quarterback. He's on a rookie deal.
Thank
You're
you.
able to spend money elsewhere. You're going to, Nick Bosa is going to be $30 million a year. He's going to be real close to that tab.
Yeah.
So while you're sitting here talking about all this Aaron Rodgers, the highest paid players in all of football you want to go after. No. You know why? Look at your roster. Highest paid tight end in football. Second highest paid linebacker in football.
Fullback.
Highest paid fullback in football by far.
Yep.
Don't forget, highest paid left tackle in football. You got a lot of high paid guys.
And you're about to add a defensive end to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be the highest paid, at least for a minute.
Yeah.
So you don't have the funds to be messing around with some veteran quarterback that's making outrageous money like that. And on top of that, for a year? Come on, man. Get out of here. That's terrible. I understand your thought process as far as on the field and what you're looking for, but that's not what this is about right now. And you know what? I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in short-term success.
And a high rental?
Yeah. I don't want to rent a guy and, like I can tell you right now, those Tampa Bay Buccaneers we're looking at, this is going to last another couple of years at best, and they're going to suck for at least 8 to 10 years. You heard it here. And remember, I think you and we talked about, remember when Philly went for broke? They got that Super Bowl. I told you, they're going to suck for a while. How's that turned out?
Yeah, they're struggling.
Yeah. You know what saved the Rams? Some good young draft picks. They didn't get great players out of their drafts, but they got some good ones. And that saved them because they were on their way to that too. And they're still playing around. They keep flirting with all these, dump this guy and have a ton of his salary and go get another guy. And what they did with the quarterbacks. Yeah. So it's just
yeah, he's not returning. He's not coming to us, but he's not going back to Green Bay either. He's done.
Who's that?
Aaron.
They restructured that contract so he could have a voidable year.
Yeah.
So
He's
here's
not
the thing.
coming back.
That's the same move that Tom Brady did with them. But you know what? He also got the same deal that Tom Brady got. They cannot franchise tag him.
Nope.
Yeah. And that's why when Tom Brady was ready to go, it wasn't about New England. He wasn't staying. He was gone. He was like, I'm done. So, and here we go. Aaron Rodgers, and you hear him talking about, I love these guys. I love it. When you hear him, I'm like, yeah, you might love the players, but he's sick of that organization. Don't get it twisted. He wasn't doing all that posturing and all that stuff just to turn around and stay. I seriously doubt it.
Well, remember this too. Devontae Adams had the opportunity to sign his contract, and he opted to wait.
Oh,
because you know who he's going to follow. don't be surprised if he follows Aaron Rodgers where Aaron Rodgers goes. And then if
Yeah.
let's say Aaron Rodgers comes to the Niners, can we afford to pay Devontae Adams? No.
But the thing is, do we even want Devontae Adams? Yeah.
Yes.
No. No.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
I don't
See,
want to pay him, but I want him.
we got receivers running around open that they don't throw the ball to, man. Just throw the ball to the guy.
Yeah.
Get the guy to throw the ball, we'll be fine.
Throw the ball to the guys in your backyard first, huh?
Yeah, the open guys. If you throw to them, I'm sure we'll be just fine with what we got. Yeah, we don't need these big name receivers making $20 million a year. Yeah, they
Yeah.
they don't usually win anyway. They don't usually.
Your thoughts on BA talking about receivers being open? I know a lot of
That's the
people.
guy. That's the guy.
A lot of people are saying that he's not getting the ball because he can't get open. Although he does struggle at times, please clarify that that's not always the case.
For those of you that were able to stomach the second half of that game last week, he stayed open in the second half. He was wide open a lot. Didn't even look his way. I mean, I was just like, wow. And the pick six, by the way, which Jimmy threw into tight coverage. And Debo, yes, you should have caught the ball. But the bottom line here is this. I don't know what play was called, but I'd really like to know, was it really about getting to the guy? Because Mohamed Sanu was never covered. Forget about the fact that he was in the slot on the opposite side where they had three wide receivers. Unbelievable how open he was. And I don't know why Jimmy never looked his way. But hey, it doesn't look good. I'll tell you that. It looks really bad when a guy's running uncovered through the middle of the field. I mean, he was in a slot and he just went straight to the middle of the field. I mean, he took like 3 strides and there was no one near him after that. So it happened quick. But Jimmy released the ball and threw it in, tight coverage, behind Debo. Debo got his hand on the ball. It ended up getting intercepted.
Hey, I'm gonna leave you for a second on your own, bro. I'm gonna go use the restroom.
Go ahead, man.
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Pick was a big FU to the fans, huh? You know, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think that there's a whole lot of you know, ready to target. Jimmy gets locked in on guys. I don't think that he really reads the field very good. Uh I think that he's good when you scheme something for him and he knows what to look for. Yeah. What are you talking about, man? I Kittle. Did Kittle say something about not wanting to play with Lance, or are you just, you know, making your own inference based on, I don't know what you're basing it on, but yeah. I've never heard anything about Kittle saying who he didn't want to play with. Jimmy won't throw to Lance. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. But okay, Luke. Yeah. Bottom line, our quarterback needs to make better reads. Um, our coach needs to uh, create schemes to make these reads more defined. On top of that, because he knows that he's not big on reading anything other than the middle of the field for the most part. He doesn't really pay too much attention to the outside. So, yeah, I don't know what what the real problem is with what are you saying? You're saying narratives that people have been saying. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we don't worry about narratives, man. I hear you, but that's that's fan talk. That's what we do. You know, we sit up and talk about this stuff. Coaches, on the other hand, they need to be handling their business. They don't need to be worried about what we're saying. They don't need to be worried about what the media is saying. They need to take care of business, prepare their team, get their team out there to succeed, put them in positions to succeed. I think that that has been the biggest Achilles heel. We've been trying to do things that were cute when it was a simple situation, trying to put too much, pizzazz into it. We're not here for style points. We're here to get the job done. And when you got a 4th and 1, hey, you know, slam that ball up in there. You got Jimmy Garoppolo, you know, automatic first down on 4th and 1. Handle it. Give him the ball. Let him run his quarterback sneak and move on. And oh yeah, that part, Eric. Trey Sermon not playing, not getting opportunities, really doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't know the story behind it, but there's a lot of tight lip stuff about it. I can see where that creates some friction as well. That when he has got in there, he's actually looked pretty good. So I can't understand why he's not out there more. And he just straight disappeared. He wasn't even he was active and didn't play last week, I believe. So that really makes no sense. Why are you taking up a spot on the 46 when you're not going to play him anyway? Maybe just desperation, just in case the two guys in front of him got hurt. I don't know, but there's some really questionable things that are happening. Like I said, I think the Shanahan is just having one of the lousiest years he could have imagined. Yeah. I mean, he's making a lot of bad decisions, you know, personnel decisions, um, decisions on whether or not you go on 4th down, you run on 3rd and short, or you know, just a bunch of poor decision making. So let's just hope they come out of it, guys. There's a whole lot of things that we could sit up here, and there's a whole lot of negative that we can sit up and run. I'm just hoping that winning has a tendency to cure it all. So let's hope that we can get on a winning track, because we are on a 4-game losing streak, and a win would start the healing process. So we need to get on track with that. And uh, oh wow, and they throw the ball into center field, and now it's 2 outs and a runner on third in the top of the 8th. Uh, yeah, still 1-0 though. Yeah, yeah. My Braves trying to mess this up. I hope they don't. Right. Well, Eric talking about we use Juice and Kittle. Yeah, and Debo, and you're supposed to be with the running backs. And Corey, slap yourself for that comment. The DB coach needs to be fired. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. We were thin at D back coming into the year. We're still thin. Um, we haven't been too terribly bad. We didn't look very good. Yeah, I don't know. for whatever reason, that was poor on his part. But DB's coach is fine. We don't have a DB issue. We Other than we need DBs. Yeah, that's the problem. It's not the coach. We're gonna fire the coach because the GM didn't get him personnel. Nah, that's not the answer. Yeah, but we do need to address DBs. I noticed that this team under this regime does not place a high value, especially on the corner position. Yeah, they don't go out and go after them. They really kind of just try to draft him in the mid and late rounds and hodgepodge some veterans together and do what they can. They're not really trying to spend big capital on that. So yeah, we see. What do you got here, Luke? Sermon doesn't need to take it to the house. Well, yeah, no, he doesn't. And he's averaging about just slightly under 5 yards a carry. He's not averaging 6, but he's averaging right around 5, just a little under 5, 4.8, 4.7, something like that. Uh, yeah. And, chain mover. I like that, Luke. You said that part right. That's what he does. He hits these holes. He can get skinny in the hole, Sermon, and he's big and he's more physical than our other guys, and he has a tendency to get some yards after contact that they don't get. He's got something that I like to call, you may have heard this term before, contact balance. And what that is, when you get hit, it's not that easy to get you on the ground. And so, he's bumping off of guys and still moving forward. So,
What did I miss?
Had a just basically more of the same, and people talking about the running backs not being utilized. You know, Corey went out there on a limb and said the DB coach should be fired. I'm like, our DB problems don't have nothing to do with the coach.
No, it has to do with a lack of players.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no,
if you have good corners, and you're just not coaching them, that's one thing. But when you have Kirkpatrick, who's playing,
I mean, we're just throwing guys that we can find off the street out there. Man.
Yeah, it's not the D-backs coach.
No,
he can only do so much. He can't do miracles.
Yeah, Kirkpatrick is Kirkpatrick.
And Josh Norman, as good as he is or was, he's a grabber. He loves to grab.
Oh yeah. I mean, holding is what he made his mark with. He was always doing that.
Yeah. He's always gonna hold. He rather hold than get burnt. And sometimes you're gonna get burned. You just got to tackle. But I think that call on K1 Williams was a terrible PI. But the one on Tart and the one on obviously
Tart had to do that.
Yeah, he got burnt from the get-go.
Tart got smoked and he didn't have a choice. They're up there trying to fake a blitz, and
he got caught looking cute.
Yeah,
he got caught staring.
He did.
When by the time everything moved fast, he's like, "Oh shoot!" And when you're trailing, bro, at that point you're gonna, So not that it's good that he got a PI, but you can understand it. K1 Williams was a bad call, but Mr. Josh, he's gonna grab. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but
PIs will come with him, unfortunately. The corners play horrendous. Yeah?
Yeah, they did.
Sure did. Even Mosley grabbed.
Mosley didn't play. He had one bad play. Mosley really didn't play that bad. He was all right.
He was giving everybody hugs. He's like, "Hey, let me hug you."
Hey, sometimes you got to show a little love, man.
Yeah.
Can't get away from that. I mean, and I think wasn't he? No, it was Ward that got the screwy call. That was the one that was terrible.
Oh yeah, Ward. Yeah. I'm like, really? Yeah, the refs don't help, man. But
Yeah, when you're out there and you got guys there and you're down to like your fourth and fifth corner, outside corner on the depth chart, and you want to hold his feet to the fire, come on now. You're gonna have a major drop off because Mosley is the second guy, and he's expected to do more than the others. But my thing is, when you had the rookie out there playing and he didn't look bad, why has he just disappeared? Yeah. He's all of a sudden a special teams guy now. I don't understand that. In the first couple of games, he was out there and didn't look half bad most of the time.
Yeah, yeah. According to D'Amico, Lenore and Avery, they're coming along. They're
He was
working
coming
hard.
along on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got burned here and there, but that's expected for a rookie. But overall, he was. I'd
Yeah.
rather have put him in than Kirkpatrick.
He's looked better than the old guys, and even better than Norman, actually. Yeah.
That's a very good question. Why isn't he in there? I mean, but then again, this is the same reason why Sermon's not getting touches, right?
Kind of thought about that. Yeah. What is it about playing these rookies? Yeah.
Do we is that is Harbaugh really disguised as Kyle?
Yeah. Allergic to playing rookies, huh?
Yeah, because that was a Harbaugh problem. Somehow it's fluttering down to Kyle. What's going on, Kyle?
I'll tell you what he doesn't do that Harbaugh, we don't have a delay a game calls.
Oh my God. And how many timeouts we had to call or delay a game? Yeah. That was terrible. Clock management was terrible.
Oh, home run.
What's the score?
That's 2-0 now. Yeah.
2-0. What the bottom of what?
8. So, they got 3 outs away from going up 2-1.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to see other than the obvious? Is a win
against in the World Series?
No. Back to the Niners. Back to the Niners.
I know.
But what do you want to see? Obviously, the win over the Bears. What specifically do you want to see as a fan happen besides the win? Obviously.
First of all, I want to make Justin Fields look like a rookie. That's number one. I want the offense to actually move the ball in a sustained way in a real organized Kyle-like fashion, mixing up the run and the pass, play action, naked boot, running those toss plays and hitting those seams on those stretch zone runs. And, that's what I want to see. And I want to see it mixed up to where that defense looks like it's on its heels constantly. Even if they make some plays, I want them to look like they're on their heels. And if that happens, then we're on the right path.
Yeah, that call on K1 Williams was a tic-tac call. But I hear you, and that's a good thing, Boston Hater. Make sure, because if we make the rookie look good, we're in trouble. Because he's had, correct me if I'm wrong.
Only team that's made him look good was Detroit. Everybody else has made him look like a rookie.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Other than the Jets, and I think the Jets might even have a better offense right now than the Bears. The Bears have a bad offense.
Oh, it's rotten.
Yeah, I mean their percentage. I mean they haven't scored more than 8-10 points, I believe, in the last few games.
Last few games, yeah, they haven't.
Yeah, so
the only team to make them look good was Detroit.
Yeah, so they're struggling offensively. So, and then they're without Khalil Mack. He's out. They're without. I forgot the name of the pass rusher that came from the Rams.
From the Rams.
He's out with COVID.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. 54.
Yeah,
or 54 with the Rams.
Yeah, I forgot his name. as well. I
I
know
can't.
who he is. I just can't think of his name.
Yeah.
But he's out too. So
Come
you
on,
know,
Eric. Something. Who was that linebacker slash defensive end that was with the Rams and now is
now it's
with
with the Bears.
Bears? Yeah, look it up if you have to.
Oh, he will.
Yeah, yeah. I can't remember his name. Yeah,
Google.
yeah. Anybody look it up. Put it in the comments.
All right, Luke Luna. Hey, it's always a pleasure having you on the show, brother. Thank you for stopping by. You
Yeah.
have a wonderful, blessed night, brother.
Take care, Luke.
We always welcome the questions, Luke. Thank you. Javier says, yeah, and we barely made it out of Detroit.
Eh.
Yeah, that
Yeah, whatever.
a couple plays went bad, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not often.
Let's put it this way.
You're not going to get Kittle doing what he did
Yeah,
very
a
often.
lot of that stuff. I mean, that was a perfect storm, and they still didn't win the game. So yeah,
That's more embarrassing for the Lions than anything else.
yeah.
Nobody knows the name of that linebacker besides. Well, I was going to say besides us. We don't know it either. I can.
Do I gotta look it up?
Luke, I think
Yes, I do.
Mr. Eric probably turned into a drive-through on his way to Houston.
Let's see.
He's ordering a double Big Mac. It's I'm trying to think of his name. Can't think of it. Yeah, the Raiders made them look good. Well, the Raiders were going through some turmoil that particular weekend. They were in transition of coaches, so I expected that. But the Raiders have really rallied up under their interim coach, and they're playing very well. Well, they were always a good team, and a lot of people thought that they were going to get derailed because of this coaching. I thought as much as I disliked the Raiders, I really thought that they were going to do better, and they have because they're rallying together. Adversity shows who you really are, and they're showing them the Raiders are made out of the real stuff, man. They're playing good, so
Yeah, let's see if it lasts. That's the one thing.
yeah.
Because it's hard to keep that together, man.
Well, we know that Cinderella lost her shoe yesterday, and I'm referring to the Cardinals.
Yeah, we don't know what they're about. I never really thought much of them anyway. Because it's not the fact that Robert Quinn.
Robert Quinn, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I never really thought that much of them. I mean, they were the same team that was 6-3 last year, ended up 8-8. Just because you come out the blocks with that, let's see what you got. And what do? You get in there against a Green Bay team that's missing their top 3 receivers. Their passing game was fairly anemic, and they ran the ball right down your throat. Made some timely plays in the passing game, and came up with the big turnover late to beat you. They should have never been in the game. If you were that team that you claim to be, and I'm not saying that they're not either. I say I don't believe in them. The thing is, at the end of the day, they're still 7-1.
Yeah.
And that can change as time goes on, and then my feelings about them will be correct. Every year is different. So, all I know is what they did last year, and so far what they've done this year really hasn't impressed me. I think that the Rams are a better team than them.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Even though they beat the brakes off the Rams, but yeah, I still think they're a better team.
Real quick, Mr. Boston Hitter, the wife has tagged me on my phone saying dinner is ready. Do you want to run it by yourself, or do you want to call that a night?
This is we've been on for quite a while now, man. So
over an hour, yeah.
Yeah,
But I wanted to give you the option though, so
yeah, understandably, but let's wrap this up.
Okay, cool. Well, everyone, we appreciate you hanging out with us on a Friday night here on the N.W.A. podcast. Always a pleasure talking to each and every one of you, Javier, Corey, Luke Luna, Kathy, Eric, and all of you, man. We appreciate you 100%. Thank you for supporting the podcast. It's always a pleasure. Boston Hater, is always a pleasure talking with you, football man. And
Likewise, bro.
tune in next Friday, same time, 7:15 Pacific Standard Time. Let all your friends and family know about the N.W.A. on YouTube. For now, we'll call it a night. God bless, and we'll see you next Friday.